The Secrets of Star Wars is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit givestarquest.com.
Hi, this is Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars, and you're listening to the Secrets of Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, where we talk about everything connected to that galaxy far, far away. From movies to books, TV shows, and more, we're looking at the deeper themes and meanings found in the Star Wars universe. I'm Robert King, and joining me on the panel are Jeff Haecker. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Robert.
And Kathryn Laffrey. Welcome, Kathryn.
Hello.
Today, we are going to be discussing Visions, Volume 3, Episode 7, The Smuggler. And a quick synopsis of this episode. We get a prologue, which is something we don't often get in these. And for a short film, it's, quite a thing to get a prologue, I guess. But this prologue tells us that the Empire has captured the royal family of the planet Zenorita. All except for Prince Arlu, who is on the run, and the Empire is hunting after him. And then we cut to the main story, where a smuggler named Cheetah, who has her ship locked until she pays off a debt. As she's trying to figure out how to pay this debt, a matronly figure named Glinu offers to cover that debt plus 10,000 to carry herself and another passenger off-world. Cheetah's ship does get unlocked when the debt is paid, but it's still guarded by stormtroopers, and her co-pilot does not like the situation and bails on the job. Fortunately, it turns out that the second passenger, a young man, is a pilot and can fill in for the job. Now, if only they had a Jedi, but alas, the Jedi are no more. No problem. The pilot knows a secret tunnel into the docking bay and can get them in just as easily as a Jedi could. So, en route, they encounter a couple of stormtroopers who are perp walking this young man who is roughly the prince's age. Apparently, they're rounding up all the young men the prince's age. This pilot / second passenger, who is also a young man, roughly the prince's age, intervenes and reveals himself as, surprise, Prince Arlu. He and Glinu defeat the stormtroopers, but before they can get away, a scout walker appears. So they are gifted a land speeder and they lead the walker away from the people, but a bounty hunter also joins the chase. Our heroes manage to jump the road and land just outside the docking bay, but the bounty hunter stays with them. Glinu, in order to get past the bounty hunter, releases a lightsaber from her mechanical arm, revealing, surprise again, she's a Jedi, or was, before things happened, the Empire and the Dark Times and so on. Anyway, they get to Cheetah's ship and fly away, and the bounty hunter gives chase in their ship, and a Star Destroyer comes in to block their path, but Cheetah is too quick and skilled a pilot for them, and they escape into hyperspace. When they reach the rebels on Yavin 4, Glinu and Arlu then recruit Cheetah to help them liberate the youth of Zenorita, for which they will need, of course, a good smuggler. It's a really heartwarming sort of, it's another one of these How I Joined the Rebellion stories. It's heartwarming, and I really liked the characters and the animation. I think what most caught my eye about this episode were the action scenes. I just really got into the action. We had several great sort of confrontations between our heroes and the villains. What were your thoughts about the cool action that we got? Let's start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, no, this had really good action. The anime studio, it's not one that I was too familiar with. At least their work outside of Star Wars. They actually did 2 episodes from Volume 1 of Visions. They did the Elder, which was the one about 2 Jedi kind of chasing down a rumored Sith Lord, which ended up kind of being a pretty cool like lightsaber duel episode. And then they also did the Twins, which was the one where it was the 2 dark side rays twins, and there was like a combined Star Destroyer super weapon thing. So both of those were pretty action heavy. So the studio, which is I believe Trigger Studio, they have a pedigree for action, and it shows here. In both, not only in the the kind of the melee hand to hand action, or on the ground action with the scene of the rescuing the young man, the bounty, and then the kind of fight with the bounty hunter, but also in space. So because sometimes when you get animation, sometimes like one part is one type of action is good, but the other part is maybe not as polished. But I thought they did a great job on both. It really felt kind of very visceral, and you really felt in the middle of it. So yeah, I really enjoyed those action scenes, and even with it being a short film, they did it still surprised me how these Visions episodes kind of capture, they like make these little short things have stakes in about 5 minutes. The battle has, the duels and everything else, the action, it has stakes that, because you get invested in these characters, even though you only know them for a few minutes. So yeah, no, the action was very good in this.
Yeah, go ahead, Kathryn.
I really think the color of the whole thing added to the action too. Everything was just bright. It just gave it a little more intensity. Of course, when you get the nice little like paused kicks and things like that to really like add a little zing to it, it was really good. And even right from the beginning in the cantina scene where you have when his droid pulls the blaster on her.
That was
just
great.
Good high intensity so fast. It shocks me that it was only 18 minutes or something like that. It's wow, that felt like a whole hour. It was amazing.
I liked the almost unintentional holdo maneuver as she was rocketing out of the planet, in the through the atmosphere and past the Star Destroyer, just narrowly missing it, and you see this bright sort of pillar of light as she's rocketing up past it, just right past its nose. And I thought that was a striking visual and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was nice too with the ship fighting, that it was, because it's one ship versus there's the bounty hunter on one side and the TIE fighters on the other, they're both trying to stop her or stop the ship. And it was just kind of a cool how she I'm a big anime fan, so it really felt like I was watching like Cowboy Bebop or one of these kind of anime known for like space combat. So they did a great job there, and it was cool how she used the missiles against the one salvo against the TIE fighters to stop them, because the bounty hunter, I guess, didn't have blasters. He just had missiles on his ship, because he
apparently
didn't seem to be shooting blasters, just was shooting those missiles. So
yeah, I was trying to remember what anime this was reminding me of. Cowboy Bebop definitely had that.
I definitely had a Speed Racer feel.
Okay.
Just the color, the facial expressions, when they were racing in the land speeder and the big jump, I wanted to hear choo 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 choo.
Yeah, that was just sort of clever and creative, not just animation, but choices of what to do with the action. So they're I mean, just the idea of that sort of exterior road curving around and through the cliffs that they were escaping onto, and then finding that was, a problem too. So they jumped off it, and it's a lot of cool creative decisions in here. As we're talking about this, it occurs to me that there are a lot of sort of, I don't know if they're intentional or not, but like similarities to scripture and to biblical stories and Christian stories and such, like the pillar of light that's being shot up, and oh gosh, now I'm blanking on exactly what I was thinking of earlier, but I think when we were talking about the way they approached the
gathering of the innocents.
Yeah, exactly. The that they're rounding up all the young men of a certain age, and I don't know if these are like intentional allusions to biblical stories or not, but I found that kind of interesting as well. Did you guys spot any others?
I don't know if I picked up any biblical ones. I kept catching all the Star Wars ones.
I mean, yeah, it's full of Star Wars Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the big one that kind of came to mind was the kind of self-sacrifice from Arlu of not wanting to let people suffer in his place, because the people they're being rounded up because they're taking away anyone that could be the prince. He's seemingly not going to let anyone suffer that for him, and wants to rescue the innocent. So just, I mean, I guess that's just more generally, self-sacrifice, which is, throughout scripture. But I didn't necessarily pay key in on the rounding up of the innocent children, like in, that King Herod did. But yeah, very similar there.
Yeah. I mean, Arlu is an interesting character. He's very idealistic and he's a purist about his morality. It's like, I will not lie to them. They asked me, "Are you the prince?" What am I supposed to say? Of course I said I am. I'm him.
No, there's that another biblical feel. Yes, when he said I am.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of on the one hand, there's like an idealism about that kind of moral purity, I guess is how I think of it, is he's not willing to bend his principles at all. He's not willing to compromise his principles. And on the other hand, there's a lot of talk these days about how impractical that kind of principled stand could be. I mean, and we can see in the situation, both Cheetah and Glinu are kind of like looking at him like he's crazy to speak so bluntly, and he has to justify it. I will not lie to them. As if they're expecting him to. I don't know. That's I think it's interesting that it raises that question of how far do we take our moral principles, even at the risk of our lives, maybe at the risk of the lives of those around us, maybe at the risk of other things. And if we're willing to sort of move the line, well, where do we move that line to?
Yeah, because you had the people. I don't know if they were bounty hunters, but there were those two characters that Cheetah overheard after she got the job to take Glinu and the other passenger. They said that there's a bounty of what was it, 100,000 credits on the prince. And I don't know if those were bounty hunters or if they were just random citizens just talking about it. But you get the sense that there's like the Empire. They're going to punish just the average citizens too. Even if there's even a hint of them sheltering this kid, they're going to, they don't want to, I guess they want the prince alive. So they're not going to, I guess, bomb, but they're going to, they're going to be the Empire and can take, can raid your house and look for the prince, and they can just decide you're a traitor and take you in. So, it seems like they haven't gotten to hadn't gotten to that level of tactics yet up until now. Like, I guess to me, it seemed like there'd been a little bit of a passage of time where they were, when the Empire took over and deposed the family. But now they're getting desperate to find this kid, I guess, because they think that they're like, if he's alive, then he can spark the people to rebellion. Which his plan later is he wants to go back and rally the youth of this planet. And I don't know if it's just the boys or what, but he wants to rally the youth to overthrow the Empire. So
yeah, or join the rebellion, as he put it. Yeah.
You could tell his family was very respected by the people, because as soon as they knew who he was, nobody was like ratting him out right away.
Oh yeah.
It was nice to see that they weren't falling for the bait of, here's this big bounty on the prince, turn him in. No, they're all like, how can we help save him? So it was good to see that, here's a good leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Empire's going to do what Empire's going to do, like you say, Jeff. But yeah, you don't often see a monarchy portrayed as a virtuous thing. But it's, yeah, like you say, Kathryn, it's clear that however they were governing this planet, it was something that the people liked and respected.
Yeah, at least in Star Wars, it almost seemed the story is almost kind of and this planet is almost kind of a mashup of Tatooine, at least like visually and looking deserty, but with like the monarchy of Alderaan, because the Alderaan. Bail and Queen Breha were pretty well liked and by the people of Alderaan, and or even I think Naboo too. Like the Queen, the Queens were pretty universally well liked by their people. So yeah, we, at least in Star Wars, we've seen generally good. If it's a king and queen, there's usually a pretty good portrayal. If it's an emperor, then maybe not so good. They're not so well loved.
Yeah. 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 I mean, Star Wars has this very, one of its sources is, like medieval Arthurian or late medieval Arthurian tales. And, the nobility is highly respected in that way. Yeah. Cool. So what about the outlaw, Cheetah, who is not really a cheater, but she's she's a smuggler. She's kind of in the scoundrel category here.
Her personality made me think this would be the daughter of Han and Leia.
I could totally see that, yeah.
So she's spunky and sassy and knows who she is. Tell you what, though, there was one little Easter egg in there that I picked up right away. She has red hair and green eyes. And there's only one Star Wars character we'll never see in film who has red hair and green eyes. And that's Mara.
Yeah.
Luke's future wife.
Yeah, I guess I saw her hair is more pink than red, but
pink
Close
is
enough.
a kind of red.
Yes.
I mean, unless it's rose.
yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, no, she I like the daughter of Han and Leia she is kind of a mix of their personalities, but I mean she also has like a bit of Luke to her as well. Before we started recording, Jeff, you were saying how much this short film had it reminded you a lot of episode 4, the original Star Wars, The New Hope. And I think this is one of the ways it reminds me of that. It gives me those vibes is this character kind of combines aspects of the main cast of the original trilogy. I like that she definitely knows her mind and she's got a lot of snark. But it's interesting that she's also like she expects to be doing the rescuing, but she ends up being rescued by her passengers in almost every case. Or she's like in the case of the kid in the street, she's just standing by trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? And they're already out there fighting the stormtroopers and setting the young man free.
Yeah, because I mean, generally, if you're a smuggler in Star Wars, you don't get involved because that's one, it stands in the way of profit, but two, that's how you get in trouble with the, if you get in trouble with the Empire, then it gets bad. And I think they even said that the reason she's in debt to the, I guess the mechanic or whoever he was, is because she there was a job for the where she got caught or where she, something went wrong, but it was something about the Empire caused that. So yeah, it's not surprising that she would want to lay low and avoid that, but that was a nice contrast to the prince who said, no, I'm going to immediately get involved and, not let anyone take my, whereas, Han Solo, when you first meet him, he probably would because he didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to try to rescue Leia until the monetary, incentive was there. So
exactly. Yeah.
He hadn't, her heart of gold was a little bit, I guess was not as hard of a heart yet as Han's was at the start of Star Wars.
When we get to the end of the episode, she's walking away from the rebel base without saying goodbye and without even taking her reward. I thought it was interesting. Glenn was saying, will you even allow me to pay you your, the reward that we promised you? And she has her own problems with the Empire, both her smuggling history, as you say, but also they wiped out her people too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we would get a little bit more of her backstory because, I mean, I know with you only have so much time in these very short films, but I mean, I guess it's just kind of the general backstory that almost everyone and almost every hero in Star Wars has, is that the Empire, hurt you or hurt your family or, destroyed your planet or, it's always along those lines. So I guess we didn't necessarily need it, but it would have been interesting to hear more because she was a cool character, but yeah, we just didn't get to spend much time with her, at least much time with her before, the events of the story started.
Mm-hmm. It was fun, the mashup aspect of the whole thing. I don't know if you've ever played games. I know my daughters used to play these little games online where you could swap and mix characters together. So you have this new character. That's what this felt like. It's one of those okay, what if we make Obi-Wan Kenobi this old lady and we're going to give her Luke's mechanical hand, so it's like this mixing together of stories and seeing, well, what comes up next. And I love that through the whole thing, seeing the parallels or hearing them, or you kind of catch them later. Like you said, when she was walking away, she's not taking her money with her like Han Solo did. I gotta go. I got a bounty on me. She was just like, okay, gotta go. And it was just neat. I love those combinations. The Gleenu character, fascinating that she's like the same species as, is it Master Mundi with the big cone head?
Oh yes, Sarian.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
so
she was
he kind of had like a wizard feel, and she kind of gave off almost like a witchy Mary Poppins feel. I don't know. It's kind of, she's like, the crazy nanny who actually can defend herself.
Okay, I didn't realize she was even a Sarian. I thought she was a human.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was, because it's interesting because you often don't see, at least in the stuff we have seen in all of the various Star Wars shows, you often don't see like an older female Jedi. You always see the older male Jedi. You see young female Jedi, or like, you see, master, female masters, but not any who are kind of like, she almost reminded me of Jocasta Nu, the librarian, the Jedi librarian. Except, she got more action than Jocasta did, at least on screen. I think in the comics, she's revealed to have like died fighting Vader or something because she was saving Jedi archives or something. But she was cool in that way, like, because it's just something different that you don't often see.
Yeah, and during during Order 66, she lost her Padawan, but the king took her in. This is one of the good things that we know the king did, the king of Zenerita. And so she vowed to serve Zenerita rather than the Jedi Order from that point, and apparently was keeping her Jedi status a secret even from the rebellion. That's an interesting shift in loyalties.
Mm-hmm. I think, she knew if she had to keep it a secret, otherwise she's a greater threat to the people around her.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole arm trick was so cool. I mean,
I love that. Yes.
Because, she's wearing the one glove and she almost looks, like a prissy English nanny kind of thing. And then, she's tells her to stand back and you see her arm come apart. It was like, that was awesome.
Yes. Then, she slides the lightsaber back inside and it all disappears and everything's fine. And yes, you are all ready to underestimate her once again. Yeah.
I love the bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Such a cool design.
Again, kind of a mashup of a lot of things we've seen before, but I really liked the mask and say more.
Well, like his probe droid, it was similar to like the Sith probe droid, but a little subtler. It's white, it's not black. Just his mask looked like a lot of the bounty hunters that we've seen through Clone Wars, all brought together in one.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of had some Mandalorian vibes and some of the other characters. So it was really cool.
Yeah. And the sort of speeder bike that they were riding and again, we were talking about how cool their would you call it a fighter ship or just a small, I don't know. It was a smaller ship than Cheetah's, but still a cool little.
Yeah, it looked like a fighter, or kind of like, like it did in The Mandalorian. He later got the N1 starfighter, so right. He seems to be more of one of the, I'll bring you in cold bounty hunters.
Yes.
I'll blow your ship up with all these missiles that I have. it seemed more like fighter ship than like he's gonna get like Boba Fett ship or the Razor Crest or something where there's cargo space to carry carbon frozen bounties around.
Yeah, both those ships had Mandalorian vibes to them, because her ship was basically the upside down version of the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
And every time I saw it, I'm like, is she going to flip over? I'm waiting for her to fly the right way. But then his was like a beefed up, bigger engine version of the Naboo fighter, which is really neat to see. Again, another mashup. And they did a much better job in this one. I brought it up last time, of using live footage in a cartoon setting. So some of the ships and things like that were like models or live footage. They did a much better job blending them in. And I think it had to do with the coloring of the rest of it. It all fit together a little better. And that's why it gave me that definitely Speed Racer vibe.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a consistent whole animated universe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this director did really, really like episode 4 a lot.
Yes, so much.
So much. Oh, just the crossover with wording and stuff. And even in his previous visions, in the first season, the twins. I mean, there it is, just a tribute to episode 4. I'm guessing he's probably about my age, so probably stood in line as a kid.
Yes.
Once the OG, always the OG. So
it's hard to beat it. I mean, it's just, it's that, There's a reason it's a classic, in that it kicked off such a large and continuing universe. It's like a hard boiled egg. You can't beat it.
Yeah, but they did have some twists on it too, because not only gender swapping the roles, instead of having you have the female smuggler instead of a male smuggler, and you have a prince instead of a princess. So they did, and then you have the lady Jedi versus having an old man Jedi. So yeah, they did swap those, and I don't think it really affected the story one way or the other. I think you could have had everybody in the original gender type roles, and it wouldn't have changed anything in this particular story. But yeah, and then you have the an older Jedi trying to take a kid off world and find the rebellion, and the smuggler has a debt and has to save a royal. So
yeah.
A lot of similar beats.
But this is told, it's as if Star Wars was told from Han's point of view, in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And the director did say that was his favorite relationship dynamic, was Ben, Luke, and Han Solo. And so that's why he played this whole episode off of that, which was great. And I love the relationship that we had between Arlu and, you could totally ship them, and Cheetah. So it was very, very cute. And just the way that, like, she's understanding who he is. He's revealing himself more to her. So that was really kind of neat too. Cause at first he's just looking through the rip in his visor at her always. And then it's a little more face to face. Then he goes as far as, dive roll saving her when they're crashing. So
yes,
that was pretty neat. And then of course we have the almost not really proposal. So
let's talk about that. Cause my Japanese cultural knowledge and anime knowledge is not as great as many people. Do you think that was meant to look like a marriage proposal in the Japanese culture, or as well as to us Westerners, you know, with the classic going down on one knee and taking her by the hand and declaring how important she is to him. Or is there some other sort of, I don't know, iconography or cultural meaning behind those gestures that we as Westerners might be missing?
Jeff,
or do you know?
I've watched a lot of anime. I didn't necessarily see it in any way, like as a marriage proposal or as anything like that. Anime does do dramatic things, like in dramatic fashion, sometimes just to kind of overemphasize and over exaggerate things. At least a lot of anime does. And I don't think they were necessarily doing that there. I think it was, you know, the way I'm kind of viewing it or headcanoning it is the prince having been raised in, you know, a royal household of decorum, and, you know, there's forms to everything that because he's humbling himself to ask for her help. So that's kind of how I took it, is that he was, you know, as a royal, you normally don't bow down to anyone, or you definitely don't genuflect to anyone, but, you know, in his most desperate hour, she's his only hope. So he's kind of getting down on the knee as kind of a gesture of how great the need is for her help.
Help me, cheetah smuggler. You're my only hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Padme to the Gungan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and again, there's that, though he is a prince, he doesn't cling to his nobility. He humbles himself and he goes along with her as a partner. It's not like he's sending her off to do a mission while he sits back, you know, having grapes served to him with people fanning him or something, you know. He's there in the co-pilot seat, and they are going off on this mission together, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to be a couple in the next episode.
You think? Okay.
I do think so. I really do. Because he respected her as far as her skills as a smuggler. That's always good. It's very important, girls. It's got to respect what you can do. And then,
there are a lot of green flags here. I'm not denying that.
There were some looks, and there were some real close talking moments. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked about this with other Visions short films or episodes, and you know, this one could easily set up for further stories, the further adventures of these characters. Is that something you think might happen? Is that something you want to see happen? What do you think?
I mean, I would like to see more. I think they're cool characters, and it would be interesting to see them going back to, because, you know, the difference between this and New Hope is that, you know, Zenarita isn't destroyed like Alderaan was, so the planet's still there, and having to kind of go back and, you know, raise a rebellion almost, you know, I'm almost envisioning it kind of like in Andor season 1 when Cassian goes back to his home planet, and, like, you know, through his actions or through his mother's actions more so, they've kind of, you know, make an uprising happen. So I'm almost envisioning that would be something really interesting to see, and to see, you know, how Gleanu is involved, and you know, we saw kind of versions of that with the Jedi kind of advising uprisers in the Clone Wars, like on Onderon with Saw Gerrera and his sister and that group. So yeah, I think it would be really cool. It would be cool to see more. I don't know if they're going to. You know, we don't know yet at this point if there's going to be a Visions Volume 4, and we probably won't know for a while. So, I guess it just, but hopefully there is a Volume 4, and I would like to see more of these characters. And then, you know, in the Smugglers, as the sequel to it. So,
yeah. Well, and just picking up on that, going back to save your home planet theme, that I got to mention Rebels, you know, going back to save Lothal. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely had a good Rebels feel when the Walker came out, especially.
Oh yeah.
Right away, I thought of Rebels, and yeah, this could go on and on. There was a lot of fan comments in different locations that I was looking where everybody would love to see this one continue. They're like, yes, this is another one that would do well with, 10 or 12 episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the only nitpicks I have on this episode are, I would like more backstory. I would like to have more of a sense of who these characters are, and more episodes would give a chance to fill that in. And the other thing is, you were talking about Cheetah's ship, and you said it felt kind of upside down to you, and to me it felt kind of front to backwards. Like I kept expecting the front to be the back and the back to be the front. It's like I have some quibbles with the ship design here.
Yeah.
But, it was a lot of fun, and I think has the potential to really delve into some, like, take the themes, the questions that it's raised, especially that, like, how is Arlu as, this straight arrow, I will not compromise my principles for anything kind of guy going to work side by side with I'm a smuggler. I got to get done whatever needs to get done by whatever means are available to me. How would that work out? And I would love to see that play out. I'd love to see that sort of internal conflict kind of develop and see them both recognize the good in each other and find sort of where does virtue truly lie.
And they could do a whole thing on Gleanu's backstory.
Oh gosh,
she looks like she would be a fabulous Jedi Master. Just the way she conducts herself, her fighting skills. Like, where did she, learn that? Who was her master? It's just, she was really a neat character.
Well, and considering the period this is set in, she could meet our heroes from Rebels, and it would be great. It would be great for more. Yeah. It kind of, it's implied Luke is the last of the Jedi and so on, but there's some more kicking around out there, and it would be great to see them getting together and, I don't know, helping each other out.
Yeah. Well, when it's 40 years ago or almost 50 years ago now, you have 3 movies, and you don't know if there's going to be any more than like, it's dramatic to say that it's The Last Jedi. But as we've gotten this greater backstory, when we've seen other, both in the canon and in Legends, we've seen Jedi who survived Order 66 and have continued on, most notably Kanan, but also Ahsoka, although she, again, she calls herself that she's not a Jedi. I think she's a Jedi, but that's just my view of it. And yeah, there are bound to be others that we just don't know about that, went off to parts unknown or had their own adventures. So yeah, I think there's it was dramatic
Ronin
back then. But,
Jedi.
Yeah, Ronin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because that was in the Legends too. There were like a lot of stories of a Jedi who would pop up, years later, and that was not involved in the initial rebellion, but got involved later on. So
it's a big galaxy, I got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah,
trying to hunt them all down.
Gotta catch them all.
I know. As if, if Luke met Gleanu, though, he'd be like, "Lady, show me how you do that thing with the lightsaber, because I got a hand like that too."
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke didn't get that feature installed when he on his robot hand, but he had R2 to shoot his lightsaber to him. So
that's true.
Well, and it looks like her arm must have been cut off like near the elbow or even above the elbow, perhaps. So
yeah.
Very
cool. This is definitely a watch again.
Oh gosh,
episode.
yeah. It rewards a couple watches. Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts? Any final thoughts to wrap things up for our conversation today?
What was her mechanic boss guy? What species was he supposed to be? Does anybody know?
Let me see if I can.
Really different.
Let me see if I can find it on Wikipedia. Yeah, he almost looked like a Soliston, but I wasn't 100%. Because it's
Sakayen. I'm not familiar with them, but at least that's what Wikipedia says. The picture of a Sakayen does not look like. It does not look like what the character looked like in the animation, though. So I don't know if that's correct.
The way he was drawn took me out of Star Wars and put me in cartoon Middle Earth, the Lord of the Rings, Hobbity kind of look. He had like almost like a Gollum Hobbit mashup from the cartoon movies. It was one thing that like I was like, oh, wait, what? Why does he look like? So.
I can kind of see that. Yeah. I don't know. He felt very Star Wars-y to me. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Most of Middle Earth could feel Star Wars-y.
There's a lot of overlap. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how about you, Jeff? Any thoughts on that smuggler guy, or any thoughts to wrap up the show?
No, I think we covered it. Yeah. I really like this one. Good action, but also good story, and it'd be fun to see more. So yeah, nothing else for me.
Cool. Well, in that case, I guess that wraps us up for this episode of Secrets of Star Wars. It's a good time to take a moment to thank our patrons who make this show possible, including David G, Rick A, Christina T, Dennis G, and Jeffrey F. Their generous donations help us create the Secrets of Star Wars and all the shows here at StarQuest. And you can join them at, I've got the old...
GiveStarQuest.com.
Yeah, GiveStarQuest.com. I had the old link in my script here. So thank you, Jeff, for filling that in. So now we would like to hear from you, our listeners. What did you think of The Smuggler or Visions in general? You can drop us an email at starwars@sqpn.com. We'd love to have you post on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. On X, we are at SQPN. On Instagram, we are at StarQuest Network. My favorite way to join the conversation is our channel on the StarQuest Discord server. And you can find that by going to our website, sqpn.com/Discord. And you can get an invitation to our server there. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's on Apple Podcasts or Google Play or wherever your podcasts are cast. All of those, leaving a review, all of that helps support the channel and makes sure that you will get our episodes right as they come out. Next time, we are going to discuss the last two episodes of Visions Volume 3, Bird of Paradise and Black. It's going to be a high contrast podcast.
Very high contrast.
But until then, Kathryn Laffrey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Robert. This was fun.
And thank you for being here, Jeff Haecker.
Thanks, Robert.
Once again, my name is Robert King. Thank you for sharing the secrets of Star Wars with us on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy. The Secrets of Sacred Art. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at starquest.fm/art.